Hey folks, I'm Joao, the CEO of Stealth White Label Agency, and my mission is pretty simple: to empower marketing agency owners to grow, scale, and build businesses that thrive. Over the past 3 years, I've led Stealth, helping 700 plus agencies achieve smarter, sustainable growth. We've generated 650,000 quality leads, invested 30 million in ads that actually convert, and ran campaigns across 70 niches worldwide. Now, I'm excited to share something new with you. We're launching the Growth Lab Sessions, a podcast designed to help agency owners learn what's working right now in marketing, sales, and business growth. Each episode, I'll bring you insights, strategies, and conversions with industry leaders who are making a real impact. No fluff, just proven tactics and real stories to help you scale your agency. Let's dive in. And today, we're kicking things off with an amazing guest, Nick Rizzo, founder and CEO of Riz Media Service. Nick runs a thriving agency specializing in social content ads and link building. He's built a solid client base and is now tackling the challenges of scaling with a strong focus on video strategy. So Nick, are you ready to take it to the lab?
I'm ready, man. Thank you for having me.
All right, awesome. So Nick, welcome to Growth Lab Sessions. It's great to have you with us. Let's start with your story. Tell us about the journey of Riz Media Service from your beginnings to where you are today.
Definitely. So first off, thank you for having me. I'm honored to be a part of this and be able to contribute. So little backstory on me. I've been in the video content, social media space for the past 8 years now. And more recently started working specifically with local business owners in my area to help them with things like scripting, filming, and editing their video content for social media, and then setting up and running their ads so that they can generate more customers for their business. So that's where I'm at now, present day. I kind of started as like a content creator, videographer, and just doing freelance work, kind of doing little jobs here and there. And then through building that skill of content creation, of video editing, of filming, of doing all those things, I then transitioned and started learning more of marketing and learning more of business sides of things. And once I could combine all those skills, I could kind of use them all to kind of do what I'm doing now. So that brings me pretty much to present day.
Yeah, for sure. Cool. So you have a pretty traditional style of becoming an agency owner, right? You started providing working as a videographer to someone, and then you started piecing everything together and started your agency. But let's get into specifics. Like, did you go to school?
I did, yeah. I actually went to school and studied exercise science. So I worked as a personal trainer, like completely unrelated to what I'm doing now. But that kind of taught me like some good networking skills and some one-on-one kind of interaction type of skills in that sense that I could then carry over and use today, you know?
Okay, and so you graduated, and then what was your first job out of school?
Yeah, I rolled right into a personal training job, like full-time personal training. It was mainly one-on-one personal training at like a private studio. So just people that are going there to work out with the trainer would work out there. But while I was in college getting my degree, I was also learning videography. So I was kind of doing video jobs. I was freelancing on the side. And while I was in school, I would just go, me and a good friend of mine, we would pitch to local businesses, to car dealerships, restaurants, to anyone that would be willing to let us come in and shoot some video content for them. And that's kind of how I started in building that skill of videography and filming and editing and all those things while I was also working and training to become a personal trainer.
Awesome. So I think like that was my start as well. I feel like a lot of other entrepreneurs kind of do it on the side hustle until it's your main hustle, right? Like that's something that always stayed on my mind. And I think for me, I always wanted to be an entrepreneur because, you know, like financial freedom, I guess, was the main thing, right? Always kind of grew up in as an immigrant in the U.S., Brazilian immigrant, not being able to afford things. And like, I don't want that for myself. Like I want financial freedom, right? And I started getting into podcasts and that concept of side hustle until it's your main hustle was like, that's how I can do it. That's how I can pay my bills, work on the side until I can do that full on, right? But was it the same for you? Like, did you always want to be an entrepreneur? Did you always want to have your own agency? Like, what's your story about that?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And I can relate to you as well, just through seeing podcasts and hearing other people talk about it, just kind of broadening my own thoughts about what was actually possible and what was achievable. But I think it's a natural progression. Like you're saying, like you maybe start out on one path and you commit to it and you start working towards your goals in that sense. But then this other thing comes up and you say, hey, I want to start my own business. Like I want to have some more freedom and some more flexibility. So now you start piecing backwards and thinking, okay, well, how can I get to that end point? And it's like, well, maybe I start doing this thing on the side and start building it up and see if I can get some traction. And then once I have some proof of concept and I see, okay, there's some potential here to actually pursue this and make it into my full-time thing, then definitely, by all means, once you have that proof of concept and you already know, like, okay, there's potential here, just go for it, right? So I think it's a natural progression. Like maybe you pick one path and you pick one route to start, and then you realize, man, it's not what I thought it was going to be, or it's not giving me the freedom or the flexibility or the time freedom that I want. So how can I get that? Well, I need to change what I'm doing now and find something that can allow me to have those other things.
Yeah. And, I love what you said about proof of concept, right? Because that's a bit vague, right? That can mean so many different things for people. And, I think that some listeners that haven't started their agencies yet or are thinking about the side hustle till it's your main hustle, like how did you define it for yourself? How do you define proof of concept for yourself?
Yeah, again, really good question. So I think it's different for everybody. And again, when I say proof of concept, some people might think, oh, I need to actually have clients or have results. But really, it could be on a smaller scale. Like if you just go and pitch to a person, hey, I'll shoot you 1 month of content or something like that, and that's your starting point, maybe eventually that develops into your agency and further down the line. But I wouldn't think, hey, I want to go from just being a freelancer that's working for someone else or getting other jobs to completely having my own self-sustaining agency. I don't think you would need proof of concept necessarily to that extreme, but maybe just start on a smaller scale. Like maybe film an ad for yourself and run it for a week and test and just see what kind of feedback you get. And even that could be a different level of getting some proof of concept. But I think like anything, you have to build it, over time. It's like maybe your initial proof of concept is, again, just filming that ad, putting it out there, and then you get a message from it. That's like, okay, this is a positive indicator that what I'm doing is like producing the result that I'm trying to achieve. So let me do more. Let me scale it. Let me increase, right? I think it's just building up your confidence like over time and just getting more comfortable with taking bigger and bigger risks, which of course will give you bigger rewards in the end.
Yeah, that's awesome. Great answer. And I think that it is the way that you broke it down, proof of concept, that's exactly how, like the way people should talk about it, because everybody has a different need, necessity, situation in life, right? For me, proof of concept was making enough money that I could pay for my lifestyle. When, like that the job, if I quit my job, did the side hustle pay me enough to pay my bills? And did I feel confident enough that this was going to be sustainable? Number one. And then also I needed to build, 5 months of cash run rate. What's my current spend every month? All right, it's like $4,000. I can live, okay, right? Can I sustain that for 5 months? So can I save $20,000, have it in a bank, and it's like, I can breathe because I know that if everything goes wrong, I'll have money in savings to pay for my living and I'll figure it out. So that was the proof of concept for me. I love that word. I'm going to start using it. Thanks, Nick. I'm going to borrow that from you. So, in terms of like your lifestyle and for us to kind of move to another topic, I do want to capture a little bit about your mission in life, because for me, I tried different things before the agency. And, I was making money doing selling on Amazon. And I was mostly selling a lot of different things that I didn't even know what I was selling. I had like 5,000 SKUs that I was selling. I was making 200K in sales a month. So I was doing well, but I was just, slinging shit left and right.
Yeah.
And for me, it wasn't as fulfilling as having an agency and making money while generating results for clients. Like when I connected that I could help in some way, which is marketing and sales, and make money from it, that for me was what brought it together. And it's like, boom, I can have an impact that's good, not just selling random shit. And I can make money, right? I can become rich from it. And so that's what started like really connecting me to the agency space and the agency business model. But I'm curious to hear from you. What was that like for you?
Brother, first off, I can relate so much. I started in e-commerce myself, like Shopify stores, drop shipping stuff, and then using sourcing agents to kind of fulfill some of those orders. But it's very relatable. Like, again, I just look at it as it gave me the skills of like customer service, of paid advertising, figuring out how to use Facebook ads and how to navigate that. But I can really relate because I find that what I'm doing now as an agency, working with other businesses, it's so much more fulfilling to actually be working and helping with other people hands-on. Like I love the fact that I'm able to create my business in the way that I want to have it because I'm only targeting local businesses in my area. And that's really my main niche that I want to try to help serve because I want to be there in person with them, helping them one-on-one, interacting with them, and being able to have that connection and that relationship with them. That's really, really important to me. And that's what I found was lacking a lot when it came to the e-commerce business. Because like I'm sure you know, you can run that from anywhere in the world. It's just you sitting behind your computer screen. Maybe you have some team members, but you're always kind of communicating virtually, and it's somewhat isolating. So again, I don't see it as I wouldn't tell someone don't do that or because I took something away from it. It gave me skill sets that I can now use. And it also showed me that, hey, look, even though I can generate revenue and generate a business out of this that can sustain my lifestyle, it's not necessarily success to me if I'm not fulfilled beyond just the financial aspect, right? That's only one aspect of my life. Like I want to be fulfilled in my relationships. I want to be fulfilled in other aspects of my life. So like you said, if I can combine all those things and create a business that allows me to have fulfillment in all those different areas, then to me, that is success, regardless of what other people might define success of.
Dude, I'm so pumped. I'm so pumped for that answer. Like, if I was more emotional, I'd start crying right now, but I'm not.
I get it, bro. I get it. I respect it.
But success, dude, that's defined so differently for everyone. I think, one of the first things about success is being able to define success for yourself.
Yes.
Right? And I think that you obviously, that wasn't even the question.
Yeah.
But that's what you touched on. It's like my success, is this what you're doing? It's not like e-commerce or something else. It's being in there with the local business owners. And that's why you're doing such an amazing job. I feel like that's one of the reasons that you have been growing so much, and it's because you're already identified that having that contact with your clients is what makes you what success for you. And so,
yes,
speaking of clients, okay, tell me a little bit about the first steps you took to build your initial client base.
Yeah, really good question. So for me, when I think back, I want to say my immediate approach was just, how can I get clients fast? How can I, again, kind of get that proof of concept for myself? And I want to say I just jumped right into paid ads almost immediately. So I figured, okay, I have the skill set. I know that I can serve a specific population and help them. So what's the fastest way for me just to get in front of them, get their attention, and let them know, hey, look, this is what I do. This is what I offer as an agency. If this is something you need help with, then I can help you. So I just jumped right into paid ads right away. and again, just tested things out and kind of saw what the response was. And the proof of concept for me was getting those responses from the ads and hearing from people and having them tell me, hey, look, like this is something I really need help with. So getting those initial clients kind of gave me the confidence too and helped me get started. But really just jumping into paid ads with like a good strategy was how I personally kind of got those few clients under my belt to start.
Nice. And do you provide, but did you have clients before that? Or was your first client from paid ads?
So I had like freelance kind of one-off job type of clients, but nothing structured as to what like my agency is offering now. So it's mainly just one-off kind of clients, not consistent like agency clients.
But so you were already comfortable of taking on a client at that point when you started running ads, right? You
Yes,
were already comfortable to like, hey, I know my services, I know my offer, I know my prices. Now, walk me to your first like freelance client, because that could be daunting.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Oh,
so
yeah.
let's talk a little bit about that, and then we'll move on to the paid ads phase.
Yeah, definitely. So if we're talking like first freelance client ever, this goes back to like when I was in college, like again, like 8 years ago when I was learning and figuring out camera stuff. So this was with a good buddy of mine, me and a good friend of mine, my college roommate. We were ones that were filming and learning how to do this together. And we just pitched at the local gym that we worked out at, because we were filming in the gym to help market his personal training business. He had an online personal training business. So he would say, hey, Nick, can you help me with my camera? Just film a couple clips of me. We're going to make some videos, post them online, and use that for marketing. And then while we were in the gym filming, we, of course, develop relationships. We just talk to people naturally. We bump into the gym owner. We say, hey, gym owner, can we shoot you a video, for your website, for your social media, whatever that is. And that was kind of the first freelance job. And everything evolves. It's like you were asking, what was my initial offer, my initial services when I started running ads? That core offer has definitely changed and evolved to what it is today. But I think the main take home is just that we picked something. We said, hey, look, we're going to shoot you a video for your website. And that's what we offered. And there was a demand for that. So that's kind of how we got that first job.
Did you, and that was 8 years ago, right?
Oh, yeah.
Was Alex Hermosi big back then?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Not in like...
At least he wasn't on my radar.
Okay. Did he come in your radar like post his gym launch?
Yes, after
phase?
the fact. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome, bro. And so you like have been in this space for a while. Like you could say that you've been servicing clients for more than 8 years.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Right. So you had that hustle like to start out with. You knew you wanted to get clients. Was there anyone that stands out from that time? Like anyone that used to be a guru in that time and kind of inspired you like make money online? Like I'm thinking Ty Lopez now.
Right. Yeah, it's funny. I don't know if really I was consuming too much of that type of content. I think I was more consuming content of other people in industries that I was interested in. Like I can think of a couple fitness influencers here and there that kind of like influenced me on my journey of like, oh, I want to create this style of content. But I don't think I really dove into the business and marketing content creators until later on in my journey. Because I think initially my whole thing was like, oh, I just really like making videos and editing videos that look cool because that's what I was interested in. So I was only watching content that was kind of related to that. Whereas present day, I'm a lot more interested in the marketing and business side of things. Yeah. So now I'm looking at guys like Hormozi and Ty Lopez and all these other guys now. Whereas I couldn't even tell you if 8 years ago they were, on the map at the same extent that they are now, just because they were so far out of my own awareness.
Yeah, for sure. And so, okay, so you started running ads. When you started running ads to get clients, did you already have experience running ads?
Yes. So my experience with running ads was more for products, like for e-commerce products. So I had the experience, but I knew how to set up the ads essentially. I don't know that I really knew much about scripting or messaging to a specific audience or any of those kind of intricacies of the things that I know now. But I had a basic understanding of how to set up a campaign, how to run it, and how to track KPIs.
Okay. And how much did you spend in the first month that you were running ads to get clients?
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's a good question. Probably, I mean, honestly, I want to say my budget was anywhere from 25 to like $50 a day. So for the
Okay.
first month, whatever that works out to, like maybe 1 to 2 grand essentially.
Wow. Yeah, that's like to start out with. I think that's pretty good. Like the $1,000 a month to start out. And how did it go? Like, what type of ad was it?
Yeah, so the first ad I want to say was very, very flashy. Because again, I'm very intentional about like my videos and my content. And I know, okay, if I'm going to launch an ad, the goal of that ad is to get my customers' attention. So how can I make sure that this ad is set up in a way that it really grabs their attention? So what I did was I was in my office here, just had a nice little setup, and I put the camera up above me, kind of pointing top down at me. I was just thinking like, okay, what's going to be something that's kind of crazy, that's going to catch people off guard when they're scrolling on their phone? So what I did was set the camera up above me pointing down, and then I looked up at it, and then just the opening hook of the ad was just Wilmington business owners. That's all it was. I just yelled to the camera, Wilmington business owners, and I was looking up. And then the rest of the ad just cut to different scenes, cut to different things. So it was very engaging. And what's so funny about that is now when I jump on calls with everybody, and even people message me all the time, all they say is Wilmington business owners, just because that hook, it stood out to them, right? So again, like that was my goal all along, was like, hey, how do I get their attention? How can I be memorable? And somehow that ended up working out in my instance.
Crushed it, bro. You crushed it. Wilmington business.
It's so funny for me to even say that.
Do you ever
now
walk on the street and somebody shouts like, Wilmington business?
That's what's so funny, dude. I'm not even kidding you, man. Like I'm telling you, like I love going to the gym. I love working out. I'm at the gym every morning. There's at least once a week someone comes up to me with their phone and they're like, dude, I cannot get you off my phone. Like all I hear is Wilmington business owners all day. You're always popping up. And I just laugh. I'm like, good. Like that's my goal here, you know?
Dude, and do you start out all of your ads now with that?
You know, it's funny. It's funny. I'm kind of scared. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm scared to not use that hook anymore because I feel like it's like so ingrained as like, okay, when someone hears that, they know it's me. So I might as well just start my videos with that, right?
Yeah. No, I love it, man. You're developing already like what makes you different. You know?
Yeah.
And I think that's really hard to develop online and to stand out.
Yeah.
And so, you know, maybe you start running for mayor or something, like, because at this point, I mean, if you count the number of impressions that your ad has had in Wilmington,
right.
I mean, you might be beating some local politicians. You know?
Dude, that's a great point, right? I didn't even think about that.
That's further down the line. That's past your 50 years of age, and you're trying to make a difference in the local politics. But now we're going to stick to getting new clients.
Yeah.
When did you start running your ads?
So this had to have been September, I want to say September timeframe in 2024. So maybe 4-ish months ago, 4 or 5 months.
Yeah. And so how did your strategy develop in these four months?
Yeah. So what's funny is I will frequently shoot new creatives and kind of test them and add them to campaigns and kind of see what's working. But honestly, I've been riding the wave of a really solid creative that I filmed, kind of like a one-off, it was an iPhone video, just shot on my iPhone. Kind of, you know, all the videos I was filming before were very scripted, very calculated and all these things. And one day I was kind of just inspired to like film just a random video. And I think maybe it came off more authentic. So that's been the ad that's been just performing so well for me right now. So that's kind of the one I've been rolling with. Yeah.
And it's like, what type of ad? Are you sending it to a landing page? Are you sending to messages? What's the strategy?
Good question. Yeah, it's just a profile visit ad. So just to get people to click on my profile, to follow me, to kind of see what's going on my profile.
Yeah, so your profile is awesome, by the way. I know that you have 2 profiles. Why do you have 2 profiles, by the way? That's a great question. Yeah. So the account I started 8 years ago when I started video content and social media, that audience that I built up there is mainly photographers, videographers, other content creators. And then when I moved to Wilmington, I moved here a little over a year ago, and that's when I started working with business owners specifically. I wanted to create a new audience of just local business owners. So that account that I started, and I've built up a newer account now, that one is all the following on that is just mainly my Wilmington area business owner clients, essentially, or potential prospects. Yeah, awesome. So yeah, I think that's really important. I've spoken to some people on social media that have followings of more than 300,000, and they said that they had some older profiles they try to create content on that already had 50,000 followers, but it was another type of content. That content would never take off,
Yeah.
as well as the new accounts that they built specifically around their new niche.
Yep.
So maybe one advice for people listening out there is that, if you're creating a new niche, if you have a new focus, start a new account. It might hurt a little bit. Nick, did it hurt you like to start a new one, or was it fine? Because I know you have like 20K in one of the profiles.
Yeah, it was definitely a hard pill to swallow when I decided to do it, but now I would recommend anybody to go ahead and do it.
There you go. All right, awesome. And so you've had a bunch of clients at this point. What was the first win that you're like, damn, I'm good at this, or or damn, I love helping these people face to face because their reactions are amazing. And you do amazing video content, so I'm sure you have a lot of those.
Yeah, thank you for that. So for me, what I find the most fulfilling is when I can do something for myself, like when I can film an ad, I can script it, I can launch it, and then I can get that proof of concept and see it for myself. That's a win for me, but nothing compares to when I can help somebody else do that. So really, it can on any level. Like a lot of my clients are at different levels. Like some of them have never created video content or never run ads before, and some of them have already spent 6+ figures a year on marketing and on paid ads. So just a good starting point is like taking someone who is unfamiliar with video content, who's never been on camera before, and kind of coaching them through that whole entire process. So like beforehand, before we show up for our first shoot together, we will create all the scripts for them and make sure that they're prepared for that shoot. So kind of helping them, familiarize themselves with the wording, with the messaging, with all those things. And then when we show up to that shoot, kind of helping guide them through that and showing them how to be more confident on camera and just showing them all those things that kind of I had to build up myself and learn how to do. Being able to help somebody else do that is really, really what's rewarding for me.
Yeah. Now, tell me about like a reaction you've had from a client that's priceless.
Oh, that's a good question. Like maybe at a shoot or just in like from a video or anything like that?
Yeah.
Okay, let me think. I got to think for a minute on this one, man. There's so many. Like I feel like a lot of my clients are really like friends. It's like what's great about running ads is that you really show your personality and you can be authentic in them. And I find that the people that resonate with that the most are the ones that are similar to that. So a lot of the clients that I end up working with are kind of similar. They like to joke around. They like to have fun, but they are still serious about getting work done. So I don't know if I have a specific example, but really just all the shoots that I go to with my clients is like, it's always just we're having fun and then we're also accomplishing our goals at the same time. So it's like combining again that combination of business and still fun and still fulfillment and all of those things at once. So I think just all our interactions together is like being in person together and filming with them. I really like having that access to be able to meet with them one-on-one to help them do that.
Yeah, for sure. Cool. So, I mean, for entrepreneurs, one of the most rewarding things in our personal missions, right? So kind of like walking away from the client focus is scaling, right? That's sort of the game that we're playing, right? It's scale, right? It is fulfilling to work with clients, but part of the game is growing the business, right? And so you've built a healthy client base right now. You already, like you can support yourself. You can buy equipment, camera, mics, right? You have everything that you need. Now, like when you start thinking about scaling, what has been your biggest challenge?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think for me, it's shifting my mindset and shifting how I can accomplish that goal. So again, like we were just talking about, I really enjoy being one-on-one with the clients and being at all the shoots and being hands-on with them. But again, if I want to scale, then something's going to have to give, right? If I want more than what I have now, then I'm going to have to change whatever my inputs are. So for me, it's maybe figuring out what I'm willing to sacrifice in order to achieve that scale. So again, like I can only be with one client at one time on one day. I can't be with multiple at once. So if I want to scale, what do I need to do? I need to either hire some more videographers, hire some more team members to do that. It's just figuring out what pieces do I want to move around so that I still get fulfillment out of what I'm doing, but I can also achieve the scale that I want to achieve.
Right. I think scaling is always two choices that you have, right? Prices or volume.
True.
And so you said hiring more videographers, volume, right? You being in the 101 with more people and growing your business, cash, right? And so have you put some thought around that?
Yeah, the fact that you just brought
where
that
you
up.
would go?
Yeah, that seems a very simple way to break it down. Like you said, there's one of two options, right? And for me, ideally, if I prioritize being with my clients one-on-one and helping them, then I don't need as many clients to do that. I would just need fewer clients at a higher price point. So I think that would be the route that I would go.
Yeah, cool. So like, what are your practical lessons so far? Like, I'm sure you've increased your prices a little bit. But what have you done by this point that you could give as advice to people that are or have been in the stage that you were before?
Yeah, really great question. So I would say just start learning, start educating yourself, but at the same time, start implementing, start taking some action, start trying some things, because that's what's going to ultimately determine what gives you feedback, right? So until you actually do something and put something out there, you're not going to know what you can make better or what you can change until you start doing that. So just learn some information, like find a specific skill or a specific task that you want to try to achieve, and then go try it. Go try it out, go see what happens, and then use that feedback, right? If you get the results that you want to get on the first try, then do more of it. But if you do something and then you don't get the results you want, then start looking at, okay, what went wrong here? Did I not do something that is in alignment with the goal that I want to get? Well, then I need to change that. So once you start and once you try things, that's what's going to start the cycle of feedback that'll allow you to either change something or do more of it.
Yeah. So, speaking of raising prices, right? Was it scary for you to raise your price for the first time?
Oh, 100%. It's a very scary thing. That seems like the hot topic, the elephant in the room all the time. We always save it for the end of our discovery calls, our conversations with prospects. But it's a necessary part of business, right?
Right. So how do you deal with that? Like, how do you talk yourself up to be like, I can do this?
Yeah, that's a really awesome question. What I would say is I as backwards as it sounds, I try to take the focus away from me as an individual as much as possible. And I try to make it about the value that the prospect is going to receive. So if I can really build that value up and portray to them that, hey, look, like you have a goal that you're trying to achieve. And in order for you to achieve that goal, we have to do X, Y, and Z on our end to make sure that you get to that goal. So if getting to the goal is really what their purpose is and what their objective is, then my price point of, in my mind might seem like a high price. As long as I can portray to them that, hey, this is valuable to you, this is what's going to get you your result, I have confidence in saying, hey, look, this is the price it's going to charge to get you that result.
Boom, boom. I think for me, it's the same in the past. Yeah. Where I was charging $1,500 a month, I wanted to start charging $4.5K a month, and it was just about giving more services, right? It's like it wasn't an artificial. Hey, you're used to get things for $1,500, but now you're gonna have to pay $4,500. It's like, hey, I'm gonna do this in addition, so SEO. I'm gonna do some content marketing. I'm going to do paid ads on Google and Facebook, so 2 platforms. And for these services, it's an additional $500, $700, $300. And then that's how we go to this $4,500 a month. But now you're going to have all of these additional services, and we're going to get closer to your goals of, being more out there, getting more clients, generating the additional 100,000 that you're looking to do for your business, right? And so I love that answer, man, because that is the most practical way to do it, right? That's how you do it. You're not going to inflate your prices. You're just going to deliver more work,
Yeah,
right?
I
More
think that's
value.
very smart. Just add more value to it, right? Versus compromising your own prices or your own services to fit the what the client is price shopping for, right?
Yeah. And so, speaking of your service, which is growth, right, through video strategy, why do you see that is the most impactful thing that a business owner should do?
Yeah, I find video is so closely related to an in-person interaction. Of course, I would value that over anything. I would say, hey, the very highest leverage thing you can do is have one-on-one interactions with customers, with real prospects in person. But if you can't do that, the second best thing you can do is just pick up a camera, pick up your phone, and film yourself talking to your customer. That's I'm just trying to mimic that in-person interaction as much as possible. And I think the second best way to do that is through video content.
And so, what are some results that your clients have seen from your work with them?
Yeah. So the whole idea of this like local celebrity, kind of local authority sort of figure, I think is huge. Like just people, again, even for me, it started with me. I could go to the gym, I could go to a public place and someone would be able to identify me and be like, hey, you're the guy on my phone. I see your ads all the time. When a client messages me or they tell me in person, dude, I just went to the store and like some random person that I've never seen in my life, I don't know who they are, totally knows who I am. Like they can have an interaction with someone and feel like this person already knows them, whereas my client, they've never even seen that person in their life. So it just goes to show the impact and the ability you have to like reach people and kind of be known as like this authority, like they are known as that person. So it's really, really cool to share that impact with other people.
For sure. And has a client mentioned a specific result that they've had working with you?
Yeah, increased bookings. I mean, let me think of one. I've worked with a mold remediation guy who was kind of struggling. He knew that for his business, in order to get out there, he needed to get in front of more people, but he didn't really know a way to go about that. So for him, just being able to talk to me and say, hey, look, like, how would you recommend I do this? And I could just break down, hey, look, we'll come out, we'll go to one of your clients' actual houses, like where he's performing his services. We'll film there. We'll get all the content for you. We'll launch these ads, and then it'll bring you more results and get you more bookings. And he's hired more employees since then. He's had other people help him, grow his business now as a result of just generating more leads, generating more jobs in his pipeline.
Awesome. And so what would you say is the biggest opportunity that your clients, or not your clients, people that local business owners are sleeping on?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think like awareness, overall awareness, and just being the best known. So I tell clients and business owners all the time, you don't necessarily have to be the best at what you do, but if you are the best known, then people are going to come to you, right? If they don't know that your business exists, you could be the best at what you do, but you're not going to have any customers. So if you're able to get in front of your customers and get awareness and get people to know about you, then you will have more business, whether that is through paid ads, which is what I recommend to my clients. The general idea is you need more people to know about you. If you want to go knock doors and go do that word of mouth, you can do that, but you're going to have to spend a lot of time doing that. Whereas, hey, if you have some money and you can invest in your advertising and your marketing, just go run some ads. And that way you can focus on growing your business while your marketing is essentially automated and just runs 24/7 all on its own.
Yeah, Nick, you've mentioned awareness, right? And awareness it's that kind of word that's not very quantifiable,
Yeah.
right? And so that for, people that are generally not really in the marketing space,
Right.
when they hear awareness, it's like, boo, I want dollars in my checking account, or like
Right,
dollars
right.
in my register account, my cashier's account, right?
Yeah.
Whatever that's called. But, I think I really want to highlight that you said awareness, because I want to make sure that we're talking about the same thing and the same viewpoint, because when, business owners hear about awareness, they might not be, they might, or when I hear awareness, the business owner might not, really be able to quantify it. However, his business, his or her business is just going to grow, right? And it's not a direct impact that you can see, I knocked on this door and I had this answer and I closed this account. It's like, oh, somehow this person found me and came to my store, and like now I have all this business, and they're coming from Google Maps, they're coming from social media. I don't really know like where they're coming from, but just that awareness is bringing me my business. Are we talking about the same thing?
Yes, yes. So step one, like in everything, is just awareness. If someone doesn't know who you are, they can't ever buy from you or trust you or know you. Like just being on someone's radar, like someone knows that you exist, is basically the most basic way I could explain it.
Awesome. Cool. And so, when it comes to AI and video content, I guess, yeah, let's get into that. What do you foresee as the future of a video maker with AI?
Yeah, I think it's getting very interesting. Very interesting. I've seen some AI videos where the actual, I guess you wouldn't call it a person in the video, but the AI in the video looks real. It looks very, you can't tell that it's not a real person in the video. So I'm curious to see. I don't know if it's too early to tell where things are headed or what things are gonna look like in the future, but I am keeping my eye on it here and there because I am curious. I'm curious myself to see where it goes.
Yeah. Okay, cool. We'll come back to AI.
Yeah.
You talked, you do offer a lot of services to business owners, right? And we talked a little bit about how can you have more scale? How can you have more impact? Part of that is hiring a team, right? And so some agency owners do want to hire an internal team. Others want to work with freelancers, and others choose to white label, right? And so we are a white label agency. And so I'm just curious if you've worked with white label agencies before, and what worked well, what didn't.
Yeah, I personally have not worked with a white label service for like fulfillment. But in terms of a team, like I do have a videographer now, I do have an assistant and an editor. So that's kind of a small team that I'm working with. But I think, like you mentioned before, if I wanted to offer more services, I think for me, in order to maintain that standard of service for my clients, I wouldn't want to take on that workload myself. So in order to accomplish that goal and offer more for my clients, I would like to white label these other services to them.
Awesome. And when it comes to your clients asking you to do things that are not in your wheelhouse, right? How do you currently tackle that?
Yeah, good question. So if I'm not personally able to do it, oftentimes I'll refer out. So I'll just refer to someone in my network who I know could do that or accomplish that, and basically pass it along to somebody else if I can't handle it myself.
Yeah, and that's typically what agency owners is always referring out, right?
Yeah.
But I think it becomes a point where you're like, hold on a second, I want to get a piece of that, right?
Oh, yeah.
And so traditionally, we work with business owners that are, or agency owners that are charging 3x of what we're charging them to fulfill, right? So they will white label us for running Facebook ads for $600, and they're charging their client $1,800, right? And so that's a lot of margin that you're getting for us to do all of the work, and you are doing the work of just maintaining client relationship, working them on some other levels, right? But you can gain some of the margin and some of the scalability, right? That you don't have to hire all these additional people, manage all these additional people. And so that's where white label really comes into shine. So thank you for sharing that insight. And, moving on to just lessons learned. If you could go back and change one thing in your journey, what would it be?
Wow, yeah, that's a really good question. If I could go back and change one thing, it would probably be just to start sooner. Like, believe in myself, start sooner, get started, because again, until you start taking action, you're not going to get any feedback. You're not going to know what to improve on. You're not going to know what to change. So I think just being able to realize that sooner on, I would be so much further along in my journey now if I knew that when I started. But I don't know if I would change anything necessarily, because I think I needed to develop those skills at the time I developed them to now be where I am now. But again, if I could go back and change something, it would just be to like, just believe in yourself more. Believe in yourself more, and that would make me take more actions early on and then give me more results.
For sure, 100%. And I can hear in your language, you're all about like, take action. I would take action. I would take action. And maybe that's so ingrained in you because you feel like in the past you didn't take too much action. Maybe you didn't believe in yourself, or maybe you were just too stuck on theory and watching content. And because, I mean, I can relate to that. I have some friends that are super successful, and that's their number one trait, is like they take action. We're having a conversation, talking about something, they already did that thing. Like, real life. It's like, bro, I just tried that. It actually works. Right? And so they don't wait around. They're not scared. They're like action oriented. So, you know, I think that if you're listening to this and you're thinking, you have ideas, just go ahead and do it. You know, like just do it.
That's really it.
You like Nike and just do it.
I agree.
Nick, look, this, we've got a rapid fire answer and question. Just answer it in 10 seconds, okay? Yep. I'm going to ask you, and don't think too much. Whatever comes to mind is your answer.
Let's
Ready?
go. Let's go.
All right, cool. So what's the most impactful software that you use for your agency?
Most impactful software? Notion.
Okay, cool. How many niches is your agency actively involved in?
I would say one niche, local businesses, if that counts as a niche.
Okay. What's your average monthly spend for paid acquisition strategy?
Yeah. About $2,500 a month on paid ads.
Cool. Can you share one unique tactic that you've used to generate new clients?
Yes, retargeting. Retargeting ads based off people who have viewed an initial ad.
Awesome. And I've seen those ads, so
they're funny. I try to make them pretty funny
targeting. Okay, cool. So if you could automate one part of your business, what would it be?
Ooh, if I could automate one part. Wow. Probably setting appointments, like from the DMs, like running ads, generating leads, just setting appointments, filtering through the people that really need my help the most, and getting those people on a call with me.
Okay, awesome. Which marketing trend do you think that's overrated?
Overrated? Whoa, a marketing trend. Huh. I think like using memes, funny memes and stuff, I think that's becoming a little overrated. Yeah.
And if you had to only focus on one channel for growth, what would it be?
Yeah, Instagram ads.
Let's go.
Yep.
If you, what's your current, and you don't have to answer this, okay? What's your current revenue, and how is your agency initially funded?
Yep. So current revenue is around $20K a month, and initially funded just from past businesses, from my past e-commerce business.
Let's go. Congrats, bro.
Thank you, man.
How do you manage cash flow as you scale?
That's good. So keeping an eye on my customer acquisition cost and making sure I stay within my numbers in terms of how much I'm spending to acquire a customer, and making sure that I'm acquiring a certain amount of customers each month.
Awesome. What's the size of your business, and how do you approach hiring?
Yeah. So I think we mentioned earlier, I have 4 people, including myself. So a videographer, an editor, and a VA. And when it comes to hiring, my editor found me. He kind of reached out to me and he led with value. He offered a free edit, and then I took him up on it, and he turned out to be a great guy. My VA is actually a family member that lives in the Philippines, and she already works as a VA. So that kind of worked out really well. And then my videographer, he was a freelancer who saw one of my ads. So he saw my local ad, he reached out, and he also led with value. He said, hey, let me come to one of your shoots and do some free behind the scenes stuff for you.
Amazing. Super organic, dude.
Yeah, very.
I love it.
Very.
So last question. What's your current bottleneck today?
My current bottleneck. I have to say my current bottleneck is figuring out what I'm willing to sacrifice in order to grow. So kind of like we talked about earlier, if I want to grow, something's going to have to give. And I enjoy everything that I do now. So I'm going to have to cut something that I enjoy doing, but in order to grow to a bigger scale.
All right, awesome. Well, Nick, it's been an inspiring journey to, to be together, to hear about your journey. I think that we connect on a lot of different levels in what brings us and moves us to come to this, sort of business style, which is having an agency. And before we wrap up, right, how can people that listen connect with you, learn more about you? Maybe they're in Wilmington and they want to hire you.
Yeah, reach out on Instagram. Just follow me on Instagram. Send me a message. I'm in the DMs all the time. I love just talking to people. So send me a message. Ask me a question. We can have a conversation.
What's your handle?
Yeah, my name is just Nick Rizzo on Instagram. If you type in Nick Rizzo, NickRizzo, you'll see me. I'll pop up.
All right, awesome. All right, brother. Thank you so much.
Hey, thank you, man.
Appreciate it.
Take care, everybody. Thank you.
All right.